Hey guys, this is Raj Karpe from Interview Prep. Today in this video, we use our unique methodology and teach you how to effectively answer top 10 job interview questions. We have interviewed lots of candidates over the course of 25 plus years, and we hope to transfer some of that knowledge we gained. Although our examples are catered to freshers or new college graduates, even experienced candidates will benefit immensely. Please watch this video entirely and have a successful interview. Now let's look at our unique methodology. For each question we explain why is the interviewer asking this question, what is in his or her mind, and what are they expecting. Similarly, for each question, we teach candidates to come up with a few bullet points first and then to frame answers around these bullet points. We also provide detailed sample answers and various tips. Okay, now let's walk through our top 10 questions and answers. Briefly tell us something about yourself. This is one of the most commonly asked questions and probably the first question you will face in any kind of interview, as this is considered to be an icebreaker. Interviewer wants to know you professionally and personally. Interviewer also wants to get an idea whether you are aware of the job role and how you match to the job role. Start with your name in case the interviewer did not address you by your name. Otherwise, skip it. Okay to briefly mention about your personal background. This helps to create some context or some friendliness. Always be brief on things unrelated to the job role. Introduce yourself professionally. Start briefly with your recent academic qualifications, including relevant courses if any. Mention relevant certifications and internships if any. Highlight your skills and area of expertise and any relevant projects or activities which align with the job role. If possible, end with how you can transition to this job role or how you plan to learn, work hard and improve. By the way, be honest with your answer though. It is always a good idea to not lie during the interview. For example, you may say, "Thank you for having me today. My name is Anil Singh. I grew up in NCR region and moved to Hyderabad to do my MA in English Literature at the English and Foreign Languages University. My family still lives in NCR. While attending college, I also did a certification course in German language, helping me to speak in German as well. I'm affable and like to keep myself busy by playing sports and participating in various debates and seminars. I'm good at using Microsoft Office and Google tools. I have strong written skills and linguistic proficiency to transition to a content writer role." What do you know about our company? This is a commonly asked top 10 question for new college graduates. Interviewer wants to know if you are proactive, enthusiastic, and have done research on their company. They also want to know if you are serious about this interview and how interested are you for this job. This question is asked to see how much preparation have you done and how much data you have gathered on the company, their culture, products and services. Start by saying that you have done various research to find more information about the company. State company headquarter location and how long it exists, and mention if it is a big or medium or small company. Also mention its growth. Also talk about senior management if somebody famous is there. Briefly explain one or two goals or objectives of the company. Talk about few main products or services of the company. Also mention about their worldwide competition. Also mention if the company was in some big news recently. By the way, never criticize any other company you already interviewed for. End by saying you always thought highly about this company. Avoid exaggeration in interviews. For example, you may say this if interviewing for an e-commerce company. I've done various research to know more about your company and it is interesting. I learned that your company is headquartered in Singapore and your operations are in Hyderabad. It appears that you are in a startup mode with an e-commerce objective in men's fashion wear, competing with the likes of Myntra, which is now part of Flipkart. I read your newspaper advertisement last week. I really liked your product and service of monthly subscription model wherein you ship ready-made clothes to your clients, rotating different fashion wear on a monthly basis. I always thought highly about companies like you who are selling fashion wear at affordable prices using e-commerce technology and selling across India. Tell us your strengths. Almost all interviewers ask this question to ensure the suitability of the candidate for the position they are recruiting for. Interviewers are keen to know the candidate whose strengths match with the job role. Interviewers also wants to see if you are a good fit with your skills for that position. Mention skills that you truly believe in and you are able to justify. You may say you were adaptable in life to different situations and you are focused and hardworking with goals in mind and you have strong communication skills. You may state you received good feedback in college on your analytical skills and on your presentation skills. By the way, do not talk about something you do not believe in. Always be honest and balanced in your answer. For example, you may say, I was adaptable to different situations in life. I'm pretty focused and hardworking in achieving my goals. Along with my communication skills, I have received praise on my analytical skills and on my presentation skills during my college. Tell us few of your strengths. You may say you are goal-oriented with good communication skills. You may state you have strong subject knowledge and you are a proactive learner to improve yourself. You can also say you have been flexible in life in different situations and you lend a helping hand to people around you. For example, you may say, I worked very hard and achieved my goals during college. My professors told me that I have good communication skills. I am strong in my core subjects as I always believed in proactive learning through various means. I am always flexible in a group setting and I love to help people around me. Tell us your weaknesses. Same thing like the previous question on strengths. Here also interviewer wants to first understand you. Interviewer wants to know if any of your weaknesses would hamper your day-to-day job or be an hurdle to perform well. If so, they probably wouldn't hire you. Having one or more weakness is not bad. How you deal with it is important. Interviewer wants to hear whether you have started addressing those weaknesses and if so, do you have any turnaround stories? Try to be real and talk briefly about a real weakness you're struggling with, which would not be a major handicap for the job. It should be minor and acceptable. Do not deny that you have any weakness. You may say you're a perfectionist and will never let go. In this example, your weakness may be seen more as a strength and less as a weakness. You should be able to justify this though. You may say you are nervous speaking in front of a huge audience. Mention you are working on overcoming this weakness. You may say you are impatient but you are currently working on listening to people and respecting their point of view. You may say you procrastinate on things and do not work on tasks until the 11th hour. Mention you are working on rectifying this. You may say you are disorganized. Again mention you are working on rectifying this. For example, you may say, I am a perfectionist and I will never let go of things. I tend to work on a given task until it is perfect. This has sometimes caused issues with my teammates on group projects when things got delayed. I'm still somewhat of a perfectionist, but I now ensure my work does not affect others. Also, I've always been nervous of public speaking. I am, however, attending Toastmasters International Club, which helps people on public speaking, and I am getting better at this. Tell us some of your weaknesses. Try to be real and talk briefly about a real weakness you are struggling with, which would not be a major handicap for the job. It should be minor and acceptable. Do not deny that you have any weakness. You may say you work too hard, sometimes without asking for help. In this example, your weakness may be seen more as a strength and less as a weakness. You may say you are unfamiliar with the latest software or latest technologies and you are going to rectify this soon. You may say you lack presentation skills and you are scared about presentations. You should say this is something you want to learn in future once you take up the job. You may say you tend to please everyone, resulting in deviated values and tasks. You should say you now tend to be objective when talking to people. You may say you are poor focused or defocused on your tasks. Mention you have recently taken a time management course to rectify this. For example, you may say, I used to work too hard without asking for help. I figured out things and learned things deeply. However, over time, I learned this is not always productive. Now, I look at optimum time needed on tasks and ask help from people around me as and when needed. Also, I'm not familiar with the latest software or technologies in my domain. I'll be taking a weekend certification course to learn and get skilled on these software in the next few months. Why should we hire you over other candidates for this position? This is one of the top 10 questions for new college graduates. Interviewer wants to hear how you can be an asset to their organization and how you stand out among other candidates. Interviewer is expecting two things from you. A, how you map with the job role and how you can perform if hired. And B, what is unique about you as compared to other candidates. Interviewer is not expecting you badmouth other candidates. Mention skills you possess mapping the job role. Focus on skills that are required for the job role that you have gained through projects, activities, and accomplishments. Talk of related academic background and anything unique about it. Also highlight experience you are matching the job role. Mention if anything is unique about this internship experience and how it sets you apart. Talk about your unique relevant strengths which might help you perform well in that position. Describe the work culture, including learning and growth, and how you map with this company's work culture. Finally, show passion and enthusiasm for the job role you are interviewing for. Do not hurry up and get hyper. Never badmouth any other candidate. For example, you may say the following if applying for a HR role. I have a strong understanding of end-to-end human resource practices based on my academic projects and activities. My internship was primarily focused on recruitment, onboarding, and team building. During my internship, I honed active listening skills and worked on conflict resolution tasks with success. In the past, I received high praise for my overall communication skills. I am perhaps unique in the sense that I did my bachelor's in engineering before doing my postgraduate diploma in HR management, and this helps when interviewing for an engineering company like yours. I am passionate about human resources in general and like the work culture within your company. I hope I'll be given an opportunity to get to the next round of interviews. Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? Or what are your long-term and short-term goals? This is one of the most commonly asked questions in interviews. That is why we put it under top 10. Interviewer wants to ensure your future professional plans are in sync with the growth of this job role. There is also another side to this question. Interviewer may think you're not serious of your career if you have not thought through what you want to be doing in next few years. A right answer from you will help the interviewer assess how long you are going to be in the organization and how content you will be at the job. First mention how this position is going to help you achieve your goal. Then mention that you are focused about the job at hand to start with. Show them that you have thought about your professional future in the medium term, but be realistic in your plans that you can back up with answers when probed. More focus and stress should be on learning and growth opportunities that company provides to the employees for this job role. Portray that you're likely to have a long and content tenure at the company. By the way, it is always a good idea not to fake about anything in an interview. Also, never make your answer complicated. For example, you may say as follows: I am focused and serious about my career. I believe my skills and background do match this job role I am interviewing for. This is something I always wanted to do and fits in well with my future plans. First, I would like to get into this job role, learn, work hard, and contribute to the company. In a few years from now, I would like to step into a team lead role. I like the learning and growth opportunities you provide at your company for employees. It appears that I would be content and have a long tenure at your organization. How did you handle a disagreement with authority in college? Or what did you do when somebody disagreed with you? This is one of the most commonly asked behavioral questions for new college graduates. Interviewer is asking this question to ensure that you will be able to cope up with a disagreement in future at their workplace. Interviewer wants to evaluate you on how you dealt with a disagreement in the past and what was your behavior exhibited in those situations. Talk about that incident in a storytelling form using SAR methodology that stands for situation, action, result. Explain the situation. Start your story about the reasons for disagreement. If possible, talk about a situation which has some commonality with the job role. Explain action that was taken by you and others. You should mention how you handled the disagreement and the other person. What steps you took to resolve the disagreement. Do not focus on negative aspects. Do not be afraid to admit if you were wrong in that matter. Use positive language in your explanation. What was the result or outcome of the disagreement? Talk about the significance of the communication with the person you had the disagreement with. Mention the learning from this situation. For example, you may say as follows: during my second year of college, I started to create an internet web portal. 2 months into this, somebody posted something offensive and my web portal was shut down by the university IT department. My friends and I were very upset that we were not consulted before the IT department took this decision, and we ended up having a heated argument with the IT folks. I waited for a few days for things to calm down. I then consulted an IT manager who happens to be my senior from my school. After talking to him, I learned their concerns and understood that their jobs were at risk if students are posting offensive material on the portal. After a few meetings, we agreed to have rules. We forced students to e-sign an agreement on the portal to publish. We revoked logins for 30 days for anybody posting offensive material. We also undertook various awareness programs at our campus. It's been over a year now and we did not face any problems. I guess talking calmly to people and understanding their point of view helped me resolve this issue. By the way, this is my example of disagreement during my college days. Frame your own answer based on your experience, if any, during college. The intent is to learn but not to memorize the answer. Describe a situation where you were a good team player. This is one of the commonly asked personality related questions for new college graduates. Interviewer wants to understand that you can perform well in a team environment and have a good understanding of team dynamics. Describe a situation where you were collaborating with your co-workers. Do not focus much on your own achievements. Rather, emphasize the success of the group as a whole. Tell them how easily you can get along with your co-workers. Mention your ability to encourage other fellow members to perform well in a team. You can also mention you're communicating effectively with difficult people and you are a good listener, being open-minded. Always use action verbs in your answer. Read job description carefully and understand the job role fully. Choose a relevant example from your past and view a story around it. And never hurry up to reply until you understand the question clearly. For example, you may say as following: "This happened during my final year major academic project. We were a team of 3 members. Unfortunately, one of my teammates suddenly had family problems. The third member has started throwing tantrums. I confronted my third teammate and discussed the situation and requested her to give a few weeks for us to get back on track. I stepped up and took over parts of the modules that were being worked by my teammate who was having family problems. Being a team player, I personally ensured our team delivered the project before the deadline." What are your salary expectations? Or do you have any specific salary figure in your mind? This is one of the most expected questions in interviews. Interviewer wants to make sure your compensation expectations, if any, fit in their budget. Interviewer would also like to give you an opportunity to express yourself on this important topic. This is also a tricky question and you should be careful on how you answer. Unfortunately, salaries for entry-level positions are not consistent from company to company. Better to be safe in your answer. Let the interviewer or the recruiter first tell you the salary figure and you can always negotiate later as needed. Mention that you are expecting salary according to the company norms. If they keep persisting, you should mention that you are expecting salary according to industry standard. Do your research upfront, as you may have to agree or disagree if they quote a salary figure in the interview. If for some reason you have a salary in mind, then mention a range as opposed to an absolute number. But this has to be realistic and reasonable. In general, a new college graduate should never share the salary requirement. More importantly, mention that you are flexible and the job role is the one that is pulling you towards the company. By the way, always be ready for any follow-up questions. For example, you may say as follows: "I'm expecting an entry-level, full-time employee salary based on your company norms. I hope this will be per industry standard. I am, however, flexible on this. I'm really excited about the responsibilities and challenges of this job role, and I hope I get to learn, grow, and contribute to your company." Do you have any questions for us? This is a very common question and is typically asked at the end of the interview process. Interviewer wants to give you an opportunity to ask questions they can answer. Not asking a question at this stage may signal that you're not fully engaged. More importantly, every question you ask should convey to the interviewer your good understanding of the job role and understanding of the company. In most cases, the questions you ask can create a significant impact and reaffirm the positive mindset the interviewer may have already created on you. Further, this is a good opportunity to show your interest and enthusiasm for the job role and for the company. Mention a product or service of the company and you may ask, for example, who their competitors are for that product or service. You can be earnest and ask a question related to the job profile. For example, you can ask about the challenges faced by past new college graduates in this job role. For example, you can also ask the challenges this team faces at the present time. You may ask details about the learning or training opportunities this job role typically provides. However, ensure you mention that you are confident to perform this job role and the learning and training is for career growth only. Ask any HR related question that they have not covered yet. For example, you can ask about job timings, job location, transport facility, etc. for any clarification. You may ask a follow-up question on what the interviewer has presented thus far on projects, tools, technologies, etc. However, as stated before, any question you ask should first give an impression that you have totally understood what was discussed, and your question should take the conversation to the next level. Always better to have a dialogue with the interviewer than getting into an argument. Avoid unnecessary discussion. Use simple sentences. Avoid slang words in your answer. For example, you may say, "Thank you for asking. I'm curious to know the kind of challenges that past new college graduates or interns faced in this job role. Also, I like to work hard, learn new things, and continually contribute to the success of any company I join. Can you please explain to me the learning or training opportunities you provide for this job role?"